Hey.
Final guest that is the only person below White Holiday in the Comicsgate phone book. It's my favorite failed clone of Peter Sammetti. The YouTube how you doing, Conrad? Welcome to the show.
Hello. Welcome to WyzGyz Entertainment. This is your host, Wyman. We're joined today by a special guest. Special guest, indeed. Passion for drawing.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
How are you, man?
I'm good. This is earlier than Sugar Chris's stream, so you're special.
Oh my gosh. I am not used to doing a lot of morning streams.
Yeah.
I used to have a different schedule where I was actually working, more or less standard daytime hours. So everything was after I got off work. But now because of my schedule, I have to fit people in the morning and some in the evening. But it's starting to work out all right.
Maybe we can get some of the morning peeps back.
Yeah, absolutely. People need entertainment in the mornings as well. And in the UK, it's actually the afternoon already, isn't it? 5, 10, yep. It's like 3 p.m. in the UK.
Yeah.
How have you been, man? Anything new?
Been good. Well, just we're working on this book and working on some other stuff, but it's a lot of work.
Oh man. Out of curiosity, do you still do like a 9-to-5 traditional type of job?
No, drawing and stuff is my job.
Ooh, cool.
Ooh.
Is that not necessarily
terrible job? What the hell?
I mean, well, I guess when something is your passion, it doesn't even feel like work. So
yeah, I'm lucky. My wife has a very good job, and I wouldn't be able to do this. I mean, I make money, but it wouldn't be enough to have a snazzy apartment like you and all the other things. But I'm lucky that way. But I still make some money doing work and stuff like that.
Are you doing like a lot of commission work?
Yes, when I have them open. Right now, everything's closed, but until the book is funded, then I'll worry about it.
Okay.
But right now, I'm working on other things on the side that are going to come out later. So, but I do commissions here and there and things like that to make a little extra dough.
Nice. So, I think it's always a plus when you have a spouse who's so supportive of your craft.
I'm trying to get it to where I make a significant amount of money. So, but I'll be opening a shop here next month, and I got other plans to do some other things to have regular income coming in. So,
all right.
My art, not just comics. Good morning, Miss Good Stuff. What's up?
Hello, welcome, Mrs. Good Stuff. How's it going?
Mrs. Good Stuff.
Who do
you think you are? See,
you
knew that too.
All right, this is the Sing About Mrs. Good Stuff hour. So that's pretty sweet. I mean, one of these days, I would actually like to get out of the whole 9-to-5 grind. I mean, I'm in IT still. I'm back in IT, rather. And as much as I love it, I think I'd rather be drawing now, So
it's a scary step. It's something, well, I had to do it kind of by force, but I've always been an artist. I have a degree in it and everything. So, but I always had to do other things. I did IT and stuff too for a long time.
Oh, really?
So I used to build servers and things like that. So.
Oh, nice. We're like on other opposite ends. I'm in desktops.
Well, yeah, we built desktops and stuff too. So.
Oh, okay. You actually build them. All right.
Yeah, I did a lot of hardware stuff, basic software loads and all that stuff. But
Oh, sweet.
that stuff's not good for your back, and
Oh, dang.
yeah. So I'm not into that much anymore. So
So,
I went into business for myself for a little while, and then that didn't work out. So I'm here drawing, like I
nice.
like to do.
Welcome, Amanda B. Morning, guys.
Amanda B. Who do you think you are? Or we said Miss Good Stuff earlier, Amanda. So
Yeah, we got to do a song for Amanda. And take it on the road.
yeah, sure. I'll meet you there.
Yeah, really. And oh my gosh, it has been it seemed like forever since I had
been a few months. I mean,
yeah, but a few months is forever in internet time.
that's true.
I was kind of like on a mini hiatus during the holidays, and the only kinds of streams I was doing was gaming and drawing and cooking. So I'm back in the promotional game, baby.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it for you coming out of retirement just for me.
Absolutely. Yeah, I really enjoy this kind of stuff, and I want to keep getting eyeballs on these campaigns if I can. Oh, there you go.
Take you
Gonna
by
take you by
surprise and make
you realize Amanda.
Yep.
Oh, that's a good song. Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Yeah. Since it's been a while, I hope, if you don't mind, would you like kind of refresh us on your quote unquote origin story? Like, what were you into growing up as a kid? Were you into the cartoons, movies, action figures, movies? And what were the major milestones in your career and life that led you down this path to becoming this independent crowdfunding creator?
Yeah. I grew up, I'm an 80s kid, so I grew up in the 80s, prime time, time to grow up. So when I was younger, I saw Star Wars in the movie theater. Well, not movie theater, it was a drive-in. So when it came out, it was it was a double feature. It was Star Wars and it was Jason and the Argonauts.
Oh wow!
And so those two films like really inspired me all through my life. That's probably a pivotal thing. So Jason and the Argonauts got me into like Greek mythology, all that stuff, which rolls into fantasy. That's the original fantasy, the Iliad and the Odyssey and all that stuff. That's the original fantasy type stuff. So that rolled into that eventually, Dungeons and Dragons, things like that. And then, Star Wars got me into sci-fi. Star Wars led into Star Trek and anything sci-fi, anything like that. So that was a really important time. And then, see, Amanda says, I like when people serenade me. That's how my ex-husband won me over. Should we ask like what what he did?
No. Yeah, what song did he sing to serenade you and win you over?
No, I was going to say, what song did he sing to become your ex-husband? We should make sure we don't sing that one.
He could sing A for Effort, though.
Yeah, I'm not much of a singer. But that rolled me down there. I got into Dungeons and Dragons, in the 80s. And then, Star Wars and Star Trek. And it just snowballs. And then if you were a kid of the 80s, there was everything you could possibly want, during that time, if you liked it, as a kid. Then I wanted to be a comic book artist. Tried that for a while. Went to school, went to the military, all that stuff, and ended up in IT for a little while. Met my wife, and I did not serenade her. She probably wouldn't be my wife right now. And tried a whole bunch of other things, wasted too much time, but now I'm drawing comics and other things professionally. So kind of my, always my dream when I was a kid to do comics and draw and art and stuff. So now here I'm almost 50. That's finally happening.
Oh my gosh.
I'm trying to work towards a nice big success with it.
Wow. Yeah. We're kind of similar in that way. We're both 80s kids, influenced by many of the same things. And I'm almost 52.
Yeah.
And you're way ahead of me, of course, but we both have IT backgrounds, and I'm just getting close to wanting to go into pursuing art finally.
It's never too late. I mean, Picasso didn't do his best work until he was in his 50s.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Jack Kirby didn't create the Fantastic Four and all that stuff. He was in his mid to late 40s.
Wow.
So, most creative people actually do their best work, like even in music, like Peter Gabriel, his biggest album in the 80s, he was 38 years old when he did that album. He was already,
right?
Yeah.
Wow.
He was already in his late 30s, going on 40. And then, I mean, a lot of Socrates didn't write all his best stuff till he was in his 50s. So a lot of creative people, not necessarily young when they do it. So it's a good time to start, and it's building up the skill that could take a lifetime. You could probably never ever get it. Exactly right. I'm always working towards that. So it can always be better.
Out of curiosity, when you went into IT, was it because you kind of got the same spiel I did, where maybe your parents or some influencer in your life was like, yeah, keep up the drawing, but like keep it as a hobby and try and find a career that you can make a living off of?
Yeah, kind of like that. I was always dissuaded to do art. My parents did not support any kind of art stuff that I did. They didn't. I wanted to go. There was an art high school in Chicago, an arts high school, and it was either they didn't want to pay for that, but they sent me to private school, which they paid for. So see, they didn't want me to go to there. So I really want to go to this art school, but yeah, they didn't support it pretty much whatsoever, and they did the whole, you can't make any money doing that, you can't do this, you can't do that. Yeah, and it's always in the back of your head, so I always had to have a plan B and all that stuff.
Right.
But when I got my degree in art, it was like, at the time, there really literally wasn't much for me to do. So I went into printing and publishing. Desktop publishing became a big deal. We had Photoshop, it's starting to come out and things like that. So they didn't teach any of that in college. So you had to, but I at least had, when I was a kid, I was into computers and how those work and everything. And then when I was at college, a lot of people had Windows that come out, and people were starting using that. And some people had Apples and stuff like that. So I got to mess around with a lot of that stuff, but it wasn't until later, till I had my first job designing things, where I got to use Photoshop and things like that for the first time, and really get into learning how to do it. I didn't learn any of that in school.
Wow.
In school when I went to school. So, my art degree was like pretty much useless when I graduated in 93.
Now,
95, I'm sorry.
What did the art degree entail? I mean, what was it supposed to train you for, to become an art teacher? Or
no, it was. I have a degree in art and design, with a minor in illustration. I should have just majored in illustration. I should have stayed on that track. But art and design, like graphic design, that was my major. So that was like, I could get a job doing graphic design, and it was very different back then. So it was like advertising. You would do advertising and things like that. But right away when I got out and I tried to get a graphic design job, I found that everything has been shifted very fast, and everybody was doing desktop publishing and things like that, and I had no training in it, so college failed me in that way.
Oh, yeah.
And I should just stayed an illustrator and kept drawing, and I would eventually got better. I didn't even have to go into college or military. I would have got better. Probably would have been farther along than I am now.
Let's see here. Seriously wanted to be Wonder Woman in the 80s when I was a kid. Yeah.
Linda Carter.
Amanda, yeah, I love Linda Carter. I'll get them to serenade you anytime I can manage it. Did you go to the military in part to cover your school expenses?
Correct.
Okay, all right. When you mentioned Dungeons and Dragons earlier, were you referring to the cartoon that came out, or were you into the tabletop role-playing game of Dungeons?
I was into both. I was playing the tabletop already, kind of, and then the cartoon was out at the same time. So I was kind of into both of them.
Cool.
You know, the cartoon was cool too, though. I love that cartoon.
Yeah, I watched it too. It was entertaining.
Yeah, they never finished it, which is a shame. But yeah, I used to have some of the action figures for it. I wish I would have kept them. They're worth some.
Are they really?
Oh, wow. Yeah. And I wish I had kept them. I had a whole bunch of them.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, there's a lot of action figures I wish I would have kept.
Hey, welcome, Pale Rider. I seriously wanted to be in Wonder Woman in the 80s.
Just Serenader.
Yeah, Serenader. It's quite amazing. She still looks great today.
Yeah.
After, I think it was after Wonder Woman and some other acting gigs, she actually pursued a passion of hers, which is singing, which is interesting. So
yeah, her daughter's a model too, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
She was married to the guy who was the CEO of Bethesda. He died recently, and they sold the company to Microsoft, I think.
Really? Oh, damn.
Yeah, she was married to him. He was a lawyer. Yeah, and he bought Bethesda like early 2000, but she was married to him, yeah.
Do you mean
she doesn't need money anymore? What's that?
The daughter married him, or?
No, Linda Carter did.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Married some time ago, and I think he passed away last year, the year before, a couple of years ago maybe, of cancer, and then then they sold Bethesda to Microsoft here recently. So,
wow. Man, that was a pervy kid.
Nothing changes, huh? Exactly.
There you have it. All right. There's a sweet looking book going on, which we're highlighting today. Passion for Drawings, Tales of Novotera.
No, I thought you were going to bring up Wonder Woman.
Oh, there you go. Amanda, not much. What was the inspiration behind Tales of Novotera?
Excuse me. Again, going back to Dungeons and Dragons and comic books in the 80s, a couple of big influences were Savage Sword of Conan magazine, which was one of my favorite things. And then there was a couple of magazines for Dungeons and Dragons. One was called Dungeon, one was called Dragon magazine. And Dungeon magazine would have a bunch of role-playing modules in it, adventures. And you could read those. I still own a bunch.
Really?
Because I like reading them and stories. I just thought that was cool. And then there was the old pulp. If you're into Conan like I am, those, he originally started out in, fantasy magazines, pulp magazines back in the 20s and 30s. And that's how Howard would write the stories for that. He wrote all kinds of other stories too. But so I wanted to kind of bring that back a little bit, you know, and also lead it into Doomfate, which was my first comic, and kind of hook everything up, and then we could expand the whole world. So Noveterra is the like planet that Doomfate takes place on. It's just one little part of this entire world that I'm building. So Tales of Novotera expands out of just Doomfate. So I got tons of stories outside that, and I wanted all to kind of be part of it. And eventually I want to do role-playing games, more comics, all kinds of stuff like that. So this is the way to expand out of it. I got more stories than I could draw.
Wow.
So and more ideas that I want to put on paper. And like I said, eventually I want to do a role-playing game with this world and get everything. I already got the name and all that stuff ready for it. But this is just kind of the start of that, because I want to create a world first, and then start putting stories in, and then other people could come in and do stories and things like that within this world. And that's what we have here too on this. So not only is there 4 sequential stories, there's also 4 traditional stories in here written by other writers using the world that I created and some of the framework. And then there's a role-playing game module in it for people who are into Dungeons and Dragons and things like that take place in the world, and it links to Doomfate, it links to all this stuff. But you can also use it just in any campaign or whatever you want to do. So same thing with this book. It's not just, you don't have to have read Doomfate. This could be a jumping off point for you. This could be a one-shot for you. If you've read Doomfate, this is going to make you want to go back and read Doomfate again, because it expands on the characters, it expands on the world, and you're like, oh, I see what he was doing here. So, because a lot of this stuff was written while I was doing Doomfate, because there's no way I could have fit it all in the book in one comic.
Wow.
So,
holy cow. So it really is an anthology.
Yeah, it's I don't know if I would call it more of an anthology, as in it's just an expansion, you know. It's not a ton of different ideas all slapped together. It's actually, there's cohesiveness to it. Like the 4 sequential stories have an overarching theme to them.
Okay.
So which is scars. It's each character is how they get certain kind of scars on them, or mentally or physically. So that's the overarching theme of the 4 stories.
Nice.
So it's not really like a showcase of characters and stuff, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That's not really, which is fine, nothing wrong with that. But this is more of and they'll be recurring. You know, some of these characters will come back often. So
nice.
you'll get to see some of their stories as we go along. And then they'll weave in and out of Doomfate.
Sweet. Check out the talent on this campaign. Aside from passions, it's a powerhouse collection.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know if there's another book in Comicsgate right now that has this much on it. So, I mean, I think Lost Pages might be close, the second Lost Pages, or the first Lost Pages I know beats this, but we got about 20 creators.
Wow.
On it that are doing different things. Yes. And there's more that I haven't got a letterer yet.
Oh, okay.
So if we get funded and we do really good on that too, we'll be adding more and more stuff to this book. But
nice.
But right now we got about 20 people.
Wow, that's a lot of talent. All right.
Yeah, it's taken me over a year to get this together. It's a lot of hard work, a lot of hours.
Sure. Yeah, reaching out to people, getting their buy-in.
Mm-hmm.
When you're doing world building, to keep things straight, do you actually have to, do you go with technology and use like pivot tables and access databases, or
nope.
do you go like old school and have this gigantic map that or timeline that covers an entire wall in your place?
No, I have a sketchbooks and I just jot down my ideas. And then if it's something that goes for Noveterra or anything like that, I'll tear it out and put it in like I have like a notebook, regular notebook, and I just put the pictures and stuff in there. Most everything. I'm a visual guy. I actually hate writing. I don't particularly. I used to do it all the time when I was in college. I was pretty good at it, creative writing. But sitting down, writing a story and everything, and scripts and dialogue, and that's not my thing. I would rather draw it, and then, what I usually do when I draw pages and stuff, I'll lay them out, and then I'll put in dialogue on the sides and stuff, and what I want the characters to say later. So all I got to do is type it out. That's usually what I do.
Oh, okay.
Like I'll draw stuff and then I'll put in, like for these stories, I didn't really know what the stories were going to look like. And so I didn't know all the dialogue I wanted to do. Because, sometimes you got to fit the dialogue in with the scene. And so but I had certain lines I wanted to be in each book, each story. So I wrote those down, but then, it's like, oh, okay, we need sound effects here. We need this there. We need that there. I tend to do, I think my writing's more like that. So I visualize everything in my head first and then write it down. So
if you're working with all this, this talent, are you basically presenting them with, all right, here's a story I want to cover in the world, and then you have like thumbnails or rough sketches of key moments that you want addressed or covered, and then you present that to the creators, and then they take it from there.
How I did it is I wrote basically an outline for each page. I just did bullet points. So like, hey, I want this guy jumping over this. I want him then attacking a bunch of monsters here. Then I want him to do this. Then I want him to do that. That's it. I didn't really give much, a little bit of description here and there, what everything would look like. But I let a lot of it up to the artists. And then there were times, and then I gave them some concept sketches and stuff that I drew of the characters, what they should look like, and what I wanted them to look like, basic ideas. Excuse me. And then they ran with it. There were times where, there was a couple times that I had to draw some, like, maybe you should try this panel this way, or, try maybe, because a couple artists had problems with a page. They weren't, they were stuck. It wasn't that they didn't know what to do. It was just like, hey, I'm not seeing this. So I would draw something out for them real quick and like, try this. So that was a couple of times. Not really. I didn't really have to do much for these guys. They're so freaking talented, and that there wasn't much hand holding at all. Just a little bit of, move this here, little tiny things that, and every artist got it. I told them what I wanted, gave them the script, and they just got it. It just clicked. So I picked 4 guys for the sequentials, I think, really got what I was doing, and they were on the same wavelength that I was. So it was a delight to work with each one of them, and they're all going to come back for another book. If we can get this funded, then I'll get them for another book. I'd love to get more people too.
Oh, hell yeah.
But
really sweet. So it's the Sword and Sorcery magazine that is returned.
Yep.
Now, do you mean return because you previously did a project like this in the past, or do you mean that the magazine format is returning?
The format. There's no more Sword and Sorcery magazines. There's no Savage Sword of Conan. There's no Amazing Stories kind of deal. This is going to be a magazine size. So It's not going to be a floppy book. It's going to be 8.5 by 11 magazine. Big. It's got more girth and length than a normal comic.
Now, with it being magazine size, are you, when you fulfill, are you going to be is there such thing as a magazine size Gemini mailer, or
no? I don't ship in Gemini mailers anyway.
Okay.
I think they're too flimsy. So I ship in something that's actually stronger. It's double the thickness of a Gemini mailer. So they have these book mailers that you can get, and then I pad everything anyway. So everything goes in a bubble wrap. So if you got Doom Fate from me, I don't think anybody was like unhappy with packaging. I think Gemini mailers look nice. They look good for presentation purposes. But I've seen a lot of people who got their Gemini mailers just folded up and bashed, and I've gotten them in the mail kind of dented, and the cardboard is very thin. The stuff I'm using is way thicker, way sturdier. It's used to ship textbooks out. So it's a little thicker, it's a little rough, and then I put padding in it, and everything is, of course, bagged and boarded and all that stuff.
What are they called? That type of box?
They're just like book mailers, fold mailers. They're cheaper too, but
really,
yeah, you know, from Uline. But they're adaptable and you can move them around. This being 8.5 by 11, that will be better too for them.
Wow,
so
nice.
Yeah, you want a stiffer mailer. I think that's just my opinion. I never had anybody who, out of the couple of things I've done, I didn't have anybody complain. So
yeah,
I mean, the presentations, like, I'm working on that. So, but people want their book. So Gemini mailer is not the be all end all sending comic books in the mail.
Fantastic.
So I think they're cheaply made, but that's just me.
Okay.
It's a little better.
Yeah, I've been pretty lucky in all my backings. Very little has arrived damaged.
Mm-hmm.
In the cases where Gemini mailers have been dented, usually it's only in the crumple zone.
Yeah.
So I've lucked out there. Yeah, not too many complaints. Sometimes when people send things like posters, and they also happen to send, buttons.
Oh.
The way they package them, makes the button part where it protrudes out from the disc.
Mm-hmm.
It causes a depression in the poster.
In the book and everything like that. Yeah. That's it. That's another reason why I'm going with different mailers. There's going to be extras in this, and I usually pad those up too. So we'll depending on how far we get, like if we get over 10,000, then I'm thinking custom dice and things like that.
Oh man,
if we can get past that part. So then your shipping kind of changes at that point. You can't use a Gemini mailer for shipping dice out. So.
Are you talking it would be included in the same package as the book magazine?
Yeah, but we would do a special kind of padded packaging and do it differently. So you would have to pack it. It'd be almost like a box at that point. Mm-hmm. You had to have to do something so everything doesn't get crushed.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
That's what extra padding and stuff in the things you would have to do, so that the book does not get damaged in any way. So
awesome. Mrs. Goodstuff says, "You sold me. Proud backer number 73."
Thank you very much.
Fantastic. Thank you. If anyone else backs during the stream, be sure and post your backer number, if you would.
Yes, thank you very much.
So you came up with you've got a fixed goal of 5,000. Is that to cover mainly the cost of shipping, the cost of the production, the printing of it, as well as things like cost of talent and whatnot?
Yeah, well, I can tell you right now, this is not going to cover the cost of the talent. Yeah, it's an investment. Like, I've already invested in this book, so that I know that money's gone. But it's to pay for the book. It's to pay for the shipping and stuff, and hopefully we can get more people on board when we fund. I want to go beyond that, of course. Everybody does. And get as many people on board as possible. And then, like, one of the stretch goals is if we hit 10,000, the second book is is going to get done. We're going to start it right away. So, I already have plans, everything laid out for the second book, and third book, and the fourth book. So, that money will be rolled. Whatever money's left after this will be rolled into the next issue. I want this to be self-sustaining.
Nice.
I don't plan on. I'd like to make a bunch of money off this, but I would like to first invest the money back into the book.
Oh, for sure.
And of course, get more artists, things like that for the next book, add more content, add more other things to the book as we go along. If we can get it to snowball over the next, I'd like to put these out every 4 months.
Whoa, that would be sweet.
Yeah. But that takes this initial investment to get it rolling.
Mm-hmm.
So I put a good chunk of money into the book and time. And then I want it to keep going though, and snowball into something big, and get more talent on it, get more artists, different covers, all that stuff. And I think you can do it. It's up to the backers if that's what they want.
Mm-hmm.
So I listened to the customers, what they wanted, everything they wanted. I think everything is in this book for them. So I know it's not superheroes, but this is a book that I think there are heroes and characters to get behind and things like that. It's just in a fantasy setting. Yeah.
Out of curiosity, did you conduct like polls on, say, on Twitter or Facebook even?
No.
Asking,
I always.
How excited are you about a magazine format book?
No, I didn't ask that, but I've heard other people, and then I'm on streams from time to time. I listen to the customers, and I listen to a lot of the shows and stuff. I watch. I may not always be in the chat, but I watch a lot of them just to kind of hear what they're looking for and what they want. I tried to get the price down as much as I could. I tried to get the shipping down as much as I could. I tried to get the best artists I could, with my budget. I tried to give people something different and exciting to do, and that covers not just comic books, but it goes beyond that. So it's something more, something that you could sit and read and have cool characters, and it's well developed and it's edited and all these things. I have an editor. I have all that stuff. This is just probably the most professional thing I've ever done so far. So I think this is probably the best project I've ever worked on. It's come along way better than I ever thought it would be.
This is looking freaking phenomenal, actually.
Yeah.
Pale Rider has some feedback. He likes the stuff shipped in the used Ziploc.
Some of your backer number, I'll make that happen.
Especially if there's mustard stains and a couple shreds of lettuce.
There you
go. That's a bonus. If I'm not mistaken, I think that's a reference to Wenger. He ran out of packing material, so he started putting his books in Ziploc bags.
Which actually, if everybody knows that story, there was actually someone who got one of those and it was in the rain, and because it was in that Ziploc bag, it didn't get destroyed. So he did, someone was upset, but he also saved someone from being upset by putting it in a Ziploc bag.
Yep, exactly.
And not to defend him, but what is a bag for comic books? It's just a Ziploc bag anyway. It's just if it was a used one, we'd have a problem. Yeah. I thought it was funny. But.
Tasty nuggets. Yeah, I mean, when I got his book,
mine came in like that too.
Super Harem. Yeah, mine ended up in one of those. I was actually excited to see it.
Yeah, I thought it was funny. Thank you, Amanda, for backing the book. I appreciate that.
That's the bonus. I was holding out for the end of the campaign if I can't be number 1, but I jumped on the train too. Number 74.
You get back at the end again too.
There you go.
Thank you.
Hooray. Yeah, if anyone backs today, definitely include your backer number in the chat.
2 backers, that's great. Thank you very much, both of you. Appreciate it.
That's freaking sweet. Yeah, I really do like this. I never had a problem with the Ziploc packing.
As long as my book gets to me in one piece, I mean.
Yeah, I think in total I've backed, I think the last count was 334. And I've been very, very lucky in the things I've been shipped. Most everything is perfect condition. So
like Amanda, as an example, like I'm pretty good with shipping. I'm very stickler with it too. Amanda bought, at an auction, she bought some of my art.
Oh,
so nice. I shipped it. I overdo it on the shipping for that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So I put it in a sleeve, this big plastic sleeve, if it's a big thing, and then I put it in a sealed plastic bubble wrap thing. Then I put that in a box with padding all in it, and to make sure nothing gets crushed. A nice big box and nothing gets crushed. And I guess she got it, and it rained out, and the box got soaked. But because I did all that stuff on the inside, it was dry as a bone. So. Yeah, I want everybody to get their books in good shape. So if I had to put it in a Ziploc plastic bag, I will. If you live like in the ocean or something, and it's like, I'll get it to you. So
I'm on a rowboat in the middle of the ocean. My cruise liner just sunk. But I still want your book.
Yeah. We'll get it to you.
Yeah, so I went to one of those antique malls where there's all these vendors who have these little booths set up, and it takes like a day to go through it all. So someone in my chat wanted something from it, so I bought it for her, and she paid me for it, compensated me. But I'm much like you. I tend to go overboard when it comes to shipping. So it was like sort of like a wooden handmade painting, if you will.
Okay.
It basically had an image of a man on horseback, a cowboy. So I put it in 2 large plastic sleeves. I wrapped it up in bubble wrap, and then I put it in a box, and then I also wrapped it in, I use a lot of clear packing tape too, so I didn't want anything to go wrong there.
Yeah. So the whole thing in CG where it has to be in Gemini mailers, that was started by Zach. Zach started that, and he ended up if a lot of you don't know, he talked to all the Gemini mailers up, and then his first book, he had someone fulfill it, and it came in these really bad envelopes. They all got beat up. They all got wet. They all got damaged. He ended up not even using Gemini mailers. So the whole Gemini mailer idea, a lot of customers like it. I like it. I think it's there's nothing wrong with it for sending a comic book or 2 in there. But when you get into a lot of add-ons and stuff, it gets, from my personal experience fulfilling campaigns, it gets a little clunky. It's I've had where people taped everything to the back of the comic and squeezing it, and it's all packed in there. And that's where things get crushed. There's no padding in it, so like the thing moves around, gets all this stuff. I go the extra mile, so I don't want people to get damaged books.
Yeah, me either.
I find I've gotten a couple of dinged and damaged books from Gemini mailers.
Right.
So yeah. So, and I'm hoping we have a bunch of extras with this. So if you get one of the tiers, you're going to get everything shipped. Hopefully we'll do so crazy on the extras that you'll actually be getting a box. That would be great.
Oh, that would be neat.
There's room for that. But, if we start getting over 10,000, that's when I get going with the crazy stuff. I have a bunch of stuff planned, but it's not just trading cards and bookmarks and stuff. It's going to be dice and dice bags and all kinds of crazy stuff that I'd love to add to the campaign later. I mean, I'm looking at miniatures too, if I can get a couple printed up.
Hell yeah!
So that would be like 25,000 plus, but if we end up going crazy.
Absolutely. Let's
go.
go.
The audio. You got the audio turned on?
At first it was muted, but I'm gonna turn it on now.
Best thing trailer in CG. Right? It's the best one.
Oh, damn, that's cool. Dreadvale Studios.
Yeah, that's my studio. Is Dreadvale Studio. I finally came up with one, so
that's a good name.
It's an area in one of my areas in my world. So Dreadvale is a thing.
Cool. Are there actually? I don't know. Maybe it's my eyes. ASE. Oh, ACE. There are two different Acevedos. All right.
Yes. There's Edwin Acevedo and there's Preston Acevedo. I joke around that the
Edwin
brothers,
the Ace, yeah. And
yeah.
Preston.
Ace and Preston, yeah. The good Preston.
That's cool, man. That was good.
Yeah, I worked way too long and hard on that trailer.
So you put that together yourself. Nice.
Yeah. I learned a lot of stuff doing TikTok. I do TikTok. That's my platform. So doing pretty well over there. But I learned a lot of how to edit videos and everything over there. So that was definitely a learning experience. Probably took me 2 weeks off and on to do it on my little phone. I did that all on my phone. So,
oh my gosh, really?
Yeah. You can do some really good editing on your phone now.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. I've heard of people doing it, but I'm having trouble. My mind has trouble grasping the idea that you could edit on a small device like a phone.
Oh yeah, there's kids who do stuff with these apps that are mind blowing. So
yeah, and
all kinds of tricks.
Some people are even making little short films using their phones. Mm-hmm. It's wild. Mrs. Good Stuff says trailer is top notch.
Yeah, I tried. It's my first trailer, so
that's cool.
I have an idea for a Doomfate 2 one, but I'm working on animation right now. So if I can get that animated the way I wanted it, that'll look cool too.
So you're teaching yourself animation too, or you already knew?
Yeah, I already know a little bit, the basics, because I wanted to be an animator originally.
Okay. When
I was in college, but I ended up, but now there's tools now that can just do crazy stuff. So I'm working on a trailer for Doomfate 2, which won't be out till the summer, so I got some time.
Okay.
But I got all the base laid out, getting all the basics laid out. I'm working on like an animatic to try to, it'll be kind of 3D-ish too. So,
yeah, I mean, one of the effects that I saw in this trailer that, still, wows me is where you have what looks like a static image, but then it breaks into like layers, like a diorama.
Yeah, that's like a filter on the app that does that for you.
Holy crap, really?
It doesn't always work great, It's not the best. Like that was on the Preston Acevedo art. I used it on his stuff to give it depth, and what the computer does, it'll cut out certain things. It's really good if you have like a figure and then a background. So like it'll cut that person out and it'll move them in that background, but it depends. Art's kind of subjective, but the AI can't. It's hard for them to differentiate in some pictures, but some it does a really good job.
That's amazing that you can get that done with a filter. Because
it's just a filter.
Here I am thinking almost like traditional style, where you'd intentionally have to draw separately in the foreground and the background as two physically separate entities, and then
layered on top of each. Yeah. Now, Miss Goodsub says, "What app did you say?" I didn't. It's called CapCut. CapCut. It's on Android. It's on iPhone. It's on all that stuff. Really easy to learn. Just go in and mess with it. There's tons of videos on YouTube on how to use it and how to. The learning curve. It probably took me I messed with it a little bit with some of my videos to get into the more detailed editing and stuff like that. I watched a bunch of videos, got the hang of it, and just went in and experimented and figure out what it can and cannot do. But if you're looking for like putting music to a video and you want to cut things up and do different scenes, perfect. It's got everything you need. I wouldn't say it's on the level of Adobe Premiere, but if you're doing basic stuff and you're not trying to make, The Godfather, it's fine. It's great. So nice. I suggest it. It's free too.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, it's 100% free.
Nice nice. That may help us with our show. Thanks.
Yeah, get it. You can upload everything to YouTube. You got to export everything. I suggest it, definitely.
That's sweet.
Yeah, and if you need any help or tips on it, just let me know. I can. But it was helpful with the trailer. I'm not an expert on it now yet. There's still a lot of stuff I can do that I didn't do, but I'm getting there. Look at that. Look at that line go up.
Dude, you're gonna get funded. I'm telling you.
I hope so. I've seen people get to 50% plus and stall out. So, I mean, I know you have too. So, but we're gonna keep going because there's a lot of books coming out this month.
Oh heck yeah, totally. Lots more competition too. So it says 24 days left. Are you doing? I guess the
30 and 30. Yeah, this is my first. This has only been a week.
All right.
So we're doing well.
Fantastic.
I'm happy with the progress. I'm ecstatic. And hopefully we get lucky and we can fund by the end of the month the first 30.
Oh heck yeah!
And the second 30 we start building up towards that 10K.
Yeah.
So 10K would be a number where we could really add some awesome stuff and really the second book is a go. We're going to do it. So because that'll be a good chunk of money to get the artists started. So I have plans for the second book, but I'd like to talk about the first book first.
Before
we are getting the second book. But this part of funding this is to help more issues come out. And I think once you get this book and then see the high quality, you'll see this is me more doing publishing than actual comics. And I think I can do it. I just don't have the funds to do it. I would love to publish more things.
Sure.
And I think I work well with artists and creators to get it done. So
nice.
Will be fun. So start of something.
Oh yeah, for sure. So it's a fantasy magazine. I like the phrase, those magazines were thought lost to time. 48 plus page fantasy entertainment magazine filled with action, entertainment, and ass kicking.
Yes. You'll see 40 here and there. I thought it was only going to be 40, but we did the number count. It'll be at least 48.
All right, nice.
So everything. There's 28 pages of sequential, 10 pages of traditional writing, and then the role-playing game plus all the monster stuff will be about 10 pages.
Okay.
So that could fluctuate up. It'll probably be, it's probably going to come in like 52, I think. If we add a bunch of art and stuff and other things to it, like if we can expand anything, we'd expand the stories and the RPG part, that would get bigger. So that could potentially, I mean, we could have a 60-page book easily, I think.
So all right. So when you have like a comic book, there's like a certain page count where it rolls over from being floppy, that's stapled, to becoming like perfect bound graphic novel style.
Right now, this is going to be stapled as far as I can get it to go that route because I just want to keep that old school magazine vibe to it.
Yeah.
If we get into like the 60s, yes, then we have to probably get it perfect bound at that point.
So is the printing for magazines very much the same kind of, is it set up the same way in a sense where at a certain point you can no longer bind everything with a staple, so you have to convert?
Yeah, I think it starts to get bulky and everything, but we're not going to be using we're going to be using good paper. It's going to be good paper. This book's going to be in black and white, number one. Okay, and you'll see why, because the old books were in black and white. That does a couple of things. One, it saves money. It makes the book cheaper, and you're going to get more for your bang for your buck. If I had to do this book in color, it would cost $30 plus just to buy the base book, because the coloring, a coloring of a job will almost double your costs. So plus and the other thing is the old Savage Sword of Conan's and everything were in black and white, and they were beautiful. There's I think I got the 4 best artists, and the other illustrations in the book are all pen and ink, stuff. Most of them are traditional, and I think I got the best guys to do stuff. So I think you'll look at the art and you'll say, "No, this doesn't need to be colored." If you feel all your comic books have to be colored, then there's grays in this book. I guess it's color, but we're gonna have a poster, and the poster will be black and white, but we're gonna have other color things that are gonna be included. So you'll get plenty of stuff.
Sweet.
But I think this genre needs to be in black and white. That's just my opinion.
I would agree with that. I think it matches well, and it takes you back to those times.
Yes, and that's the idea, is to kind of give you that fuzzy feeling of the old days with that kind of magazine. You're sitting on the shitter or whatever, and you read this. That's what I want. That's actually my dream, is someone's shitting on the, they're sitting on the shitter and they grab the magazine and they're reading this. That's what I want, because that's just my dream, to everybody be on the shitter reading my magazines. It's not a
that would be pretty cool when you fulfill and people start receiving their magazines rather.
Yep.
And then they start posting to Twitter, them on the shitter reading your magazine.
I'm not against it. Just make it safe for Twitter.
Yeah.
Sure. That's
going to be great.
Yeah, I want these in magazine racks. I want these up with people's D&D books and stuff like that. I want people to beat them up, roll them up, put them in their back pocket.
Nice. Mrs. Goodstuff says, "Gotta get some work done, but have a great day. I wish you much luck, Passion."
I'll see you soon. I'm supposed to be on y'all show here soon. So.
Oh, cool. Yeah,
I'm on there with Mr. Goodstuff, and pretty sure she's going to be there. So that's on the 11th. So that's Friday.
That's a good show. Nice. Yeah. Black and White to showcase the talent Large magazine format, approximately 8.5 by 11. Large magazine format is 8.5 by 11.
Yeah, it's the that's what the old Conans were.
Oh, really?
They're 8.5, 11.
Okay.
You had smaller magazines like your like Cosmopolitan and stuff were slightly smaller.
Okay.
They were thicker, of course, but mostly like your newsstand magazines, the large ones were 8.5 by 11. Now there was the supersized ones,
Uh-huh.
you know, where there were some. Remember those old Star Wars ones? They were huge or humongous. They were,
Yeah.
you know, those. No one prints those anymore, though. Unfortunately, I looked them up.
Really? Oh, man.
It's not going to be on newsprint. It's going to be on regular paper. I can't find it. You know, I don't think I would do newsprint anyway. But there's no. I don't think there's anybody in the country really printing on newsprint at this size. So, I know there's comic books and things like that, but this kind of size is really unique, and no one really prints on it. And even back then, it was kind of an offshoot thing.
Oh, gotcha. Tales of Novotera will include 4 sequential stories, 4 traditional stories with illustrations. A role-playing game adventure includes illustrations and maps.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to role-playing game maps, is that where it legit looks like a map, or is it like a map plus there's a grid line?
There'll be a like a drawing of it, like an isometric, and then there'll be an overhead things for especially like the battle scenes and stuff like that, and that'll all be in black and white. One of the stretch goals later on, if we hit 10K, is to actually get those maps printed as posters, like a double-sided poster that'll be folded up.
Ooh.
And be with the book so that you can use it during your game, just fold it out and people can play right on it.
All right.
But that's after if we hit 10K. That's one of the stretch goals. Like I said, a lot of the RPG stuff can be stretched out and more stories. I got some other writers who would be great to write some more stories we can add. But the sequential stuff is locked in. That's what we're not doing any more of that. But we can always add more drawings, more stuff like that for everybody. I want to put a character sheet in, stuff like that.
I'm not super familiar with how the old tabletop RPGs and maps work, but in a given property, let's say on your RPG, you've got your map. At a certain point, do you release more maps that are designed to like interconnect with the original map? So you explore more towns and realms, or
yeah, you would do that. Like most adventures nowadays comes with some type of topography map. A lot of them you can actually play right on them. They're usually the grid is broken up into 1-inch squares, and you use that grid, and then you draw the houses and buildings and caves or dungeon or whatever around it. And it's like a top-down view, you know, like you're playing a video game.
Okay.
And that's what most people do, and they'll include a map in there. So right now I have a plan that there's one map that's going to be on it where most of the action takes place in it, but I don't have any maps for like inside. There's an inn in it. There's no map of the inn that's going to be included. Those will all be added later. Or the DM can make up his own. He can do whatever he wants, put a generic inn map there. But if we get past 10,000, we do it, you know, we do a color map, a fold out map. That's with the book. And then you can play right on that. And it would be more detailed and more, you know, I would actually get a guy. I know a couple guys who actually do it for a living, Dungeons and Dragons maps. I would hire them to do it, you know. So it would be a more detailed map. But the base map is, I can do a good job on that and draw, you know, a pretty good, nice, detailed black and white map.
Sweet. That's cool. New monsters and characters to add to your campaign, fully illustrated.
Yep. So there'll be all new characters and monsters and stuff like that. So the Valerians, their stats and backgrounds will be in there. The Valerian orcs will be in there. There's some giants. There's snake guys will be in there. They're called the Serpine. So they'll be in there with stats and stuff like that. We have 2 characters that Winkler came up with. Their characters will be in there that you could play as well. Yeah, it's gonna be cool. A lot of that's all illustrated by me.
All right.
I did most of the RPG stuff.
Yeah, you're good in fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
The letters page.
Yeah.
What is that about?
We're gonna do the first one. We're gonna have some letters people sent in.
Okay.
And some questions. It'll help you read it, just like old school magazine, man. Like people sent in letters, and you could read the letters page.
Oh, that's fun.
Some of his questions about Noveterra, about Doomfate, about the characters, and you'll get a more detailed explanation about things or what the plans for the next magazines are and stuff like that.
So people have already mailed in letters to you?
Yeah, they did. No, it's going to be probably 100% fake. But I've had people ask me questions like talking here what this is about. I'll put that in there. A lot of people don't know a lot of those letters pages were fake. They weren't real.
Were they really?
Yes. They weren't. Most of them were not real.
Whenever I read letters to the editors and all those comics growing up,
a lot of them were fake. Like everybody talks about Stan Lee and him answering this as a lot of them were fake. So
oh man.
Yeah. Now there were ones that were really good, and that got in. But they got mostly like, I want Spider-Man to beat up the Hulk. They're not going to put that in. Things like that. So, they made up. Guys would make up letters all the time.
That's gonna be
just
fun.
to fill space. So, like the first one, it's going to be, I have people ask questions. I got some people writing me questions on purpose, and then if it comes down, I'm going to put an email address up there, and you can send me questions for the next book, and I'll put it in. I'll print it if it's good.
Cool.
Otherwise, I'll just make something.
That's cool and fun.
Yeah, it's just a fun part of the book. There's going to be fake ads in this too.
Oh man, I love those.
Yeah, they're going to be like themed. Like I got an idea. You remember the old fruit pie one?
Yeah.
The one where the guy gets the sand kicked in his face. I got that. On the back of the book, there's going to be a, where you can mail away for stuff. Remember, like the X-ray glasses? Yeah. Well, I'm doing one it's all fantasy based. It's fake. It's so it's gonna be like Doomfate fantasy based kind of stuff. Like send away for a monkey paw and stuff like that. So stuff like that. Just fun stuff, so that it's not just a fantasy. It's a reading experience. It's cover to cover entertainment. There's no articles in here about how to run your game or how to draw a comic or interviews with the artists. Maybe later we'll do something like that.
Right.
But this is all, you just read it. If you're not into RPGs, role-playing games, there's going to be a synopsis of the story at the beginning. You can actually just read it. Like, oh, this is cool. And then never play it. Consider like a bonus story. So, this cover's done by Ink Spots. He painted it over my pencils. So he did most of the work.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm. Pretty good old school feel to it.
Yeah, it does. It does.
And our first story is called Spite Your Face. Its artist is Pat Max and Doodlebags. I wrote it. As you can see, Doodle is very good at drawing women.
Yeah.
And this is Armis. Armis is a character in Doomfate. This is when he's a younger man. It's kind of a flashback when he first starts going out in the world and adventuring. He goes to the Far East. And, one of his first adventures he goes on here. And he's kind of like my Conan the Barbarian stand-in guy.
Okay.
He's you'll see a lot of his stories going on. So yeah, Pat does great work. I mean, black and white line work is fantastic.
Yeah, that's cool.
And we got The Front by Joe Ball, written by me. So,
wow.
This is The Front is a 1,000-year war where the free people of Noveterra are trying to keep out this whole nation of goblins and orcs and giants from overwhelming the rest of the realms. So this war has been going on for like 1,000 years. So think of the Black Gate in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
And they're trying to keep Mordor from breaking out.
Yeah.
Think of the beginning of the movie Lord of the Rings where they do the flashback with that war, of all the armies in Mora.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
That's going on for 1,000 years. That's basically what this war is.
Holy frioli.
So Joe Ball drew it. Can't have anybody better. It's like the day in the life of a warrior, and this is Helios. He's in Doomfate. Again, this is a flashback, but every warrior, big warriors, popular warriors have to do, in dwarves or elves or whoever, has to do like a 3-year stint on the front. They're required. So,
wow.
So this is Helios. He goes there. He's like the hero of the Valerians, and he goes there. And the war, 3 years of this, war kind of changes him. So this is kind of like when he's in the middle of it.
That's freaking detailed as all get out.
Oh, this is one of the Tamer pages. So Joe did a fantastic job.
Whew.
Armies and everything. I couldn't think anybody else would draw it. And then this is called Opportunity. This is by Alan Alonso, Hull Comics, written by myself. This is a character called Galen, is in Doomfate. This is when he's a younger man. He's probably in his 20s at the time. He's what's called a guardsman, which are kind of like knights or samurai or barbarians.
Okay, all right.
If you think of them that way, they're a guardian, they are guardians. And he's kind of a low-level guardsman. No one thinks much of him. It's kind of a joke. And this is a story on how he steps up and becomes something more. So, he pushes himself to go forward. So, a really cool story. Howell's, he's done Lost Pages and Magic Cop. Fantastic artist. Really good line work. Very different than the other guys, but fantastic work. I love it.
Yeah.
Something a little different.
Seize the Moment.
And Seize the Moment is by Preston Acevedo. This is all, I think he said this is all ink and Copic markers.
Oh.
So it's almost like it's painted.
Yeah.
So each page, everything was traditional except Howell's. Howell's is digital, but everybody else is traditional. So again, he gives us kind of the heavy metal kind of Bisley feel to the book.
Uh-huh.
And his story is about orcs. So in orc society, if you're a lowly orc, you don't get a name. You don't get a name until you distinguish yourself or get a rank of some sort. So there's a character called War Commander Zoc in Doomfate. This is basically how he gets his name.
Huh.
So this is the previous War Commander there. His name is Zog.
Oh, man.
So they way things to kind of flesh out the orcs.
Yeah. Edwin Acevedo, Phil Diaz, Mark Middleton, Eddie Winkler.
Yep, they're all doing traditional stories, so your regular paragraphs and things, but they will have illustrations with them. We got some more artists I'll announce for doing illustrations, but this is Gabrielle. He's done stuff for Eddie Winkler and things like that. Fantastic. This Freddy Winkler story. His story kind of goes in with a little bit with Doomfate, but it could also be a jumping off point. About these two guardsmen who run into this mysterious hooded figure, and they don't do so well against them. So it's kind of like I said, ties into Doomfate a little bit and the second book. Then there's one, another one about guardsmen and sacrifice. There's one about the huntsman. There's one about magic and stuff. So.
All right. Role playing section. The Attack on Lone Home.
Yep, that's the name of the adventure. It's like a one-night adventure you could play with 3 or 4 hours or so, with 3 to 5 characters, 1 to 3, and then there'll be a monster section with at least 6 new characters and 6 new monsters and 4 new characters, and they'll each have a page and their own write-ups and stuff.
Wow.
So this is one of them. This is a cage giant. So he goes throughout the battlefield and stuff like that, and he scoops up people and puts them in these cages. And then he swings that big thing around with all the cages and stuff in it, and get knocked around a little bit. So he's like a walking prison.
I love that idea. Oh my gosh.
And then we got other people doing trading cards and pinups and other things.
Oh, shit. Damn.
Dan Dahl, Booty Juice, Brandon Diaz.
Nice.
Gabriel, Anthony Figueroa, Clayton Barton, Shelby Robinson, and there's a couple more people that I can't talk about yet because we got to get funded and get people locked in at that point. But this is going up to that, big goal.
My goodness. Holy cow, this is amazing.
So we hit funding. Everybody who gets the epic or deluxe tiers will get 11x17 poster that Joe Ball did here. It's a fantastic piece. It looks beautiful. So, if you get those are the tiers that actually have, the stretch goals with them. We do have a tier that doesn't have stretch goals. You just want the book. So some people aren't in the stretch goals. So.
What are your plans for shipping the poster? It's
probably gonna be folded.
Okay.
So there's gonna be a fold-out poster.
All right.
If we get to a certain point, like if this goes gangbusters, then we'll start doing a larger poster. We'll upgrade the poster and we'll do tubes and all that stuff. But
okay.
Right now, this is just fold-up poster for everybody. So.
And then we've got the Anthony Figueroa trading card at 6,000.
And this is by him and colored by myself. So, and this is a character, Gorvos. He appears in Howl's story. So Anthony did better. So we got Clayton Barton trading card. We got Booty Juice. Booty Juice's card is going to be for anybody who's on the mailing list. He's going to do. We're going to have a special art card made up that he's signing. So if you didn't get on the mailing list, you won't get that card, unfortunately. And he's going to sign all those. For this one, you just get the regular trading card. So there'll be a trading card with character stats on the back of the card, like I did in Doomfate. You'll get those included as stretch marks. So you'll still get the Booty Juice art. You just won't get it signed and really nice card by him and everything. It's going to be all nice and coded, and it's going to look all fancy.
Oh, okay. All right.
So
there we go.
But the regular one is just going to be a card. So, and then we got the Pat Maxton vertical mini print page saver, otherwise known as a bookmark.
No, page saver. I'm going, what is this?
Yeah, he did this wonderful bookmark. I don't want to show it off yet, but
all right.
It's pretty awesome. And then if we hit 10K, that's the second issue is go, and then I got some stuff that I will announce when we get close.
My goodness. All right. So sequential story and art finished, dialogue editing, lettering to be done. All stories in the editing stage. You said you have an editor that you're working with already?
Steve Dye's doing the editing on it. So
alrighty.
He's making sure everybody does all the grammar and everything. Because I'm the art guy. I'm the art kind of the art editor. He's kind of the make sure everybody's writing correctly.
Nice.
The stories make sense and all that stuff. So I'm not that good. I'm like, oh, this looks cool, and then goes to him and he's like, no, this is not right. This doesn't. You're an idiot. This has to be reformatted. I'm like, okay.
Traditional stories, all stories in the editing stage, role-playing module and creature section, RPG editing, testing, illustration 75% complete.
What?
Creature section, illustrations complete. Testing and editing to be done. Overall magazine, 75% finished. Ooh, that's cool. July due date should not be a problem unless printing becomes an issue.
Which, yeah, people are having problems with paper and printers, and it happens. So, you know, it could easily, something could happen, but yeah, pretty good.
All right. So let's check out these perks here, man. Deluxe $25. I love it when a campaign has a featured tier because it's like best bang for your buck, gives you a nice taste of the product.
Yes.
And for those who don't have a lot of time to peruse the entire campaign, they can feel pretty satisfied getting the featured tier.
Yes.
So this has the 40 plus page magazine, all stretch goals. Yeah, 48 plus.
Yeah.
All stretch goals, random black and white sketch, card by Rob.
That's me.
Sketch card by Rob. And bagged and boarded. Nice.
Yeah, so this will be nicely shipped. You'll get the sketch card by me, which my sketch cards go for $25 anyway. So basically you're getting the magazine for free.
Wow.
So, you know, that's a good deal in and of itself. So if you can't jump in, and you'll get all the stretch goals, we get funded, boom, stretch goal. And it's about every $1,000 after that. So
all right,
we'll get to more and more stretch goals, and this will build up. So this potentially, depending on how big the campaign gets, by the time I'm shipping, it could get quite large package. It's for your money, but you're already getting a sketch card right out of the bag and a piece of original art.
Yeah, that's a hell of a deal. Seriously. Yeah. 27 people in on that one. Yeah, digital option, which is the 40 plus page magazine sent when physical ships.
Yeah. So like that, this is for people like overseas, and the shipping's crazy, or it's more economical. You know, some people can't afford $25, $35 for a book. So want to give them an option. I'm not against digital, so against it.
Yeah, and there are actually some people out there who do prefer digital. I'm a physical kind of guy, but you know, I'm not going to knock anyone who would rather have digital.
Yep.
The standard magazine itself, 20 plus shipping, 48.
Yeah,
plus,
it's $20, and then it's the cheapest shipping I could put it at. And this is, you just get everything put in a stiff mailer and sent out to you. It's the bare bones, no extras, all that stuff. So I want to give everybody an option. Like I said, with Doomfade, I had probably 30%, 35% of my backers were just the book.
Oh, all right.
They didn't want all the extra stuff. And there was a lot of extra stuff on Doomfade, but they didn't want it. They just wanted the book.
And then we've got the Epic $60 plus shipping tier.
Yeah, so that gives you everything that's involved in the deluxe version of the book.
Holy crap.
So you get all the stretch goals and the sketch card for the magazine. Then you get a first edition copy of Doomfade.
Oh,
and then you get 5 prints. The ones shown there's one by me. There's one by Doodlebags. There's one by Joe Ball. There's one by a gentleman called Joby Dorr. He's a fantastic artist. And what's his face from 656? He did a cool little print.
Oliver,
yeah. Oliver from 656 did a cool little print of like Valeria, like in a He-Man packaging. Really cool. So it looks like you could hang it up on your wall. It looks like packaging is cool.
Yeah.
So you'll get those prints included. And then if I have some other stuff laying around that, like I might have a poster here and there I could stick in there from Doomfade. I will throw that in there too, most likely.
Oh my gosh.
To get that stuff out of my house. But we have extra prints and things like that. So we'll get everybody hooked up. You'll probably get more than what's labeled there, but that was just a bare minimum. So you get some cool prints, and you get the first edition. So if you didn't get Doomfade, this is your opportunity to get the first edition. Oh, and it's signed too.
Oh, nice.
To get it. Because when I do Doomfade 2, I'll bring it back. It's going to have a different cover. And I'm going to be adding a a prequel story to it. So,
and it'll be the second printing.
yeah, that was second printing as well. Yeah,
Gotcha.
different cover. Might add a little bit more story to it, prequel stuff with Valeria, and then it'll be, you could still buy it and get something different, but it's not going to be the first printing of the book. So,
all right, very nice. And that's your biggest tier. Wow, that's freaking affordable. Holy moly. Do you think you're going to include any other physical art, like interior illustrations?
Yeah, we might do that. I know these guys. We've spoken about selling their originals on the campaign. I'm holding off on that.
All right.
First, because there's some logistical issues with that. One, if I put it on now and these guys all sell their art, which I would, I know it would sell.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And it would. Of course, I would hit my goal like overnight.
Right.
The problem with that is that money doesn't go towards the production of the book. It goes to the artists.
Yes.
So that's we need to get the book funded in a real good, stable way, so that the production can happen, and then we'll sell the original art later on down the line, probably, to really get the number up. But those guys, yeah, they're free to do with their art. I asked them to save me certain pages that I want, that I want for myself to buy off them eventually. But but other than that, they're free to sell them. I'm having them hold off.
All right.
But
all right.
Pat's had these pages for over a year, and they're fantastic. Every page is fantastic. Like, you would want to own one.
Sure.
I certainly do. But the issue is we don't want to pad up the thing. The goal here is to get funded, but not to hit a number. You know what I mean? Like, we're not trying to hit a number. We're trying to get funded. We're trying to get as many backers as we can. So this is sustainable on its own, the magazine on itself. Also, there's tax issues. So, there's so you put art on campaign, I have to pay taxes on that sale. So,
really?
yes, like they're going to send me. They just look at one big lump sum of money. The government does. They don't care how you got it. So there's other things involved. So we're trying to work things out to do it differently. I think about maybe having an auction for it or something. I don't know.
Well, you mean like you're not going to? For the sale of every one of the.
So let's say sell pages for $1,000, right?
Okay.
And it's on my campaign as $1,000. The IRS is going to say, "Hey, you owe me 35% of that $1,000."
Oh shit.
Okay, and then I pay out the artist. They have to pay taxes on any of their income that comes in.
Oh, damn.
They pay another 35%.
Oh man.
And then IGG's coming down on that kind of stuff, and everything. The other government's going right now. You can't. So we're trying to figure out a way to get people, sell their art.
Yeah, what a scam.
Yeah. So I want them to get as much money as they can. I don't want it to go to the government. So
Yeah.
I don't know how we're going to do it.
I thought at first that that they would look at the overall earnings from the Indiegogo and just do one tax on that.
Well, yeah, they would.
They're
going to do that, but that $1,000 in art is included in that number.
Well, yeah.
So
okay, all right.
There's probably like a business way of doing it, but I don't have that set up. So, but we're going to figure something out.
Yeah.
How it goes. Normally, I did my campaigns. It was my own art, so I didn't worry about it. But
right.
This is a lot of really amazing art, and if I had the money, I would just buy everybody's art and then sell it myself. But I don't have that kind of money. So.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I was intending to, start doing auctions myself, but I still haven't gotten to it. I'm working on it, but I'd still like to eventually do them. There are a lot of other channels that are doing auctions now too. So
You kind of slowed down on those. They weren't, coming in as well, but we might do something. Who knows? I mean, yeah, it'll be once we get funded, we'll see where we're at, and it may just be the best thing to do is just contact the artists themselves. They'd be more than happy to. I don't know what's going to happen. So,
right.
But right now is we got to sell books. That's
sure.
the number one thing. Books are more. The art's great. The books are number one priority right now. We need to get to 100 and some backers, I think. So
yeah, need to get this funded.
Yep.
For anyone who hasn't backed it yet, please be sure and back it while you can. It is funding. If you've already backed it, definitely thank you very much for your support. Consider backing again, though.
Yes,
You definitely will have family and friends who will be interested in this kind of cool stuff too.
There's add-ons where you can buy more books. At a discount. You get them on discount.
So is that through DMing you, or are you going to add a LCS tier or something?
No, not an LCS tier. I didn't think there would be that much demand for it. I've tried that in the past and never sold any.
Oh,
so I mean, if you go in the add-ons, there's an add-on to add an extra book, and then there's an add-on to two extra books, and you get discounts on each level that you buy. So if you want to buy 3 books, you want to buy just that book and 2 extras and a third. So you can buy up to 4 books basically.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's pretty good for LCS. If somehow you do want to do that, I'd probably wait till we've already gone to print and stuff, and I'll, when we go in demand, we'll handle that kind of stuff. But
okay,
if there's someone messages me and says, "Hey, I own a comic book store, I'd like to get 20 copies off of you," then we'd work something out. But the magazine has to get funded first.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'll print extras and sell them to people. Yeah, I don't have a problem with that.
Nice.
But funding's number one. It's good. As many people on board as possible. I think this is a very good project. I think it's very good. If I wasn't involved with it, I'd buy the shit out of this. So it's
I definitely dig it. It's a good looking project, and I'm looking forward to backing it.
Good.
Let's go ahead and watch the trailer once more.
Okay.
And then I think we'll wrap things up.
Sounds good.
That's cool.
I told you it was cool.
Did you come up with the logo?
No, that was How Comics, Alan Alonso, who designed that. It was kind of like I had a vision for it, but he's the one who really,
realized it.
Make it look really cool. Yeah, it's kind of the inspiration for it was like, old school fantasy stuff, but it was like Legend of Zelda kind of feel to it.
Yeah.
They kind of bring, old school video game. Like if you ever played Bard's Tale or Zork or anything like that from back in the day, that was those kind of logos that I was going for. like we could slap this on a video game or something like that.
Yeah.
So that was the idea, and also get some of that feel of, and we got a little World of Warcrafty feel to it and all that stuff.
Yes.
So we tried to hit everything. He did a fantastic job.
Yeah, I like how it turned out. It's good. Excuse me. And I really dig that cage giant.
Yeah, there's a couple of giants.
Uh-huh.
There's a cage giant. There's a gallows giant, and then there's a necro giant. So those will all be in the book. I'm pretty much done with all the art on those, but I didn't want to show them off yet. So.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah,
I got more ideas than I could do with. So cool.
That's freaking sweet. So let's do a refresh just to check it out. 64 backers, 2706. 66 backers, 2780. So you're at 55%, my friend.
Yeah, we're on the other side, so that's good.
Nice. All right. Excuse me. And I got a little time before work, so I think I'm going to back it.
Cool. I appreciate
that. Very, very cool. This is exciting. I like the concept. It looks great. I love the artwork. Very cool looking project. So,
thank you.
So I wanted to, I'll drop the link once more for everyone, although it's pinned as well. Anyone who hasn't yet backed, please consider backing it. This man fulfills. It's a good project, very talented. You've got a whole lot of talent in this campaign. As you can see, if you've already backed it, consider backing again. Think about Valentine's Day gifts. Well, actually, no.
Well, July, April. Well, we're supposed to be shipping in July. I'm hopefully to get that actually shipping in June. So it'd be great to have a book out early.
Think about birthday gifts, Christmas gifts.
Yeah. And
back it once, back it twice, back it 3 times a lady.
Yep.
If you don't have the means to back it right now, please consider sharing it all over your social media. Thank you so very much. I wanted to thank. Oh, hey, Chris. Can't stay, but thought I'd pop in, drop a like, and show some love for this awesome campaign.
Thank you, Chris.
Back it today, back it twice.
Chris is a good backer. Yeah.
Yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Yep. Great.
Welcome, Chris. Excuse me. So I'd like to give you the floor. Would you share with the world how you can be found on social media?
Sure, you can find me at Passion, the number 4 drawing, at Passion for Drawing. You can find me on Twitter and TikTok. TikTok, so I got a bunch of videos up there. If you're not into TikTok, or if you are, check out my videos. They're pretty awesome. You can find me on Instagram, some of my art and stuff like that. That's Passion, the word for, FOUR drawing. You can also contact me on Gmail, same address, Passion for FOUR drawing. You can always contact me through the campaign if you have any questions or anything like that.
Sweet. The TikTok, is it? Are you sharing a lot of your art and your projects there, or are you doing?
Yeah, we do that. And I do drawing videos, instruction videos, memes. We do live drawing shows a few times a week. So
okay. So you don't sing and dance?
No. Just draw.
All right on. Yeah, that seems to be a pretty popular platform for advertising nowadays.
Yeah, well, it's pretty good. I tried some stuff. It's not doing great, but I gotta go. So, I gotta stop my cam, but I gotta go real quick. But thank you for having me on.
My pleasure.
I appreciate it. I'm sorry to skedaddle, but
no problem. Yeah, I had to wrap up anyway, or
right,
I was wrapping things up anyway.
Well, thank you for having me on. Thank you everybody who backed today. I really do appreciate it. Please spread the word. If you can't back too, I understand, but at least spread the word.
Yep, that's free. Absolutely. Hey, take it easy, man. Thanks so much for joining us, Passion for Drawing.
Thank you very much.
Have a great day.
All right, everybody have a good one. Thank you.
And then you can find me at my usual haunts. I'm at Twitter at WyzGyz Tweets, at Twitch at WyzGyz Entertainment. No longer, formerly WyzGyz Twitches, but it's WyzGyz Entertainment, all one word. And then YouTube, WyzGyz Entertainment. But whenever you're searching for me, be sure and make sure WyzGyz is all one word, WyzGyz. Otherwise, you'll just get too many results. And unrelated results at that. So WyzGyz. And so be sure and check me out. And yeah, that covers everything. Thanks for joining us today. I want to thank everyone in chat for hanging with us. And for those of you who backed, awesome sauce. Thank you to everyone who watches this on replay. Thanks most especially to our special guest today, Passion for Drawing. Please like, comment, subscribe, mark the bell for notifications, mark all notifications so hopefully you don't miss a single video or stream. And we shall see you on the next video or stream. Take it easy. Bye.
Final guest that is the only person below White Holiday in the Comicsgate phone book. It's my favorite failed clone of Peter Sammetti. The YouTube channel. How you doing? Welcome to the show.